Tonight, a group using theater to help young people help themselves out of this mad cycle that's really killing them, because now is the time to act. The sadness, brutality.
They don't believe in nothing. It's like, I don't know what we can do.
The random senselessness of most Chicago murders is at times the talk of the town.
And I'll talk to people about, well, did you hear about this going on? And they'll say, yeah. And they'll leave it at yeah. And I'm just like, well, where's your outrage? Why aren't you upset, you know?
17-year-old Melanie Thompson admits she wasn't moved to act until a close cousin was killed last summer.
I'm not really sure about the story, but I know that it was nothing for him to lose his life over. And then my next cousin who died very shortly after, less than a month after him, was shot on his porch.
How do those things look in the way we approach our mayoral office?
Already active in the arts, Melanie was a perfect fit for Teens at the Table, part of an initiative by Chicago theater companies led by Steppenwolf to empower young people to stop youth violence and intolerance. All year, the teenagers have been using the stage to show how to act during conflict, then coming to the table to work on solutions. Armed with research and passion, they're not here to complain, but to propose and question.
If you get a whole slew of people behind this, then the media is going to start falling into place. Then the politicians start taking notice.
I think that looks like everybody coming out of their comfort zones and coming out of their homes and their places of safety.
We just got to start with elementary, probably like middle school or something like that. They try to give them more opportunities within sports or something that involves them like more with the community.
During the final town hall meeting last night, the group hosted a rep from the mayor's office, the head of security for Chicago Public Schools, and a member of the media, me.
How can the youth influence the media to amplify the good they are doing?
How do you balance telling the story that gets the audience's attention without negative sensation?
I was impressed with how thoughtful and thorough these young people are. So was the mayor's deputy.
I would just encourage others to think about dialogue and discussion as a way to really engage a little bit further on these issues that are so important. They deserve much more than just screaming from one side to the other.
The idea is to take what they learn back to their communities. For Melanie, that's Humboldt Park, which does have a very lovely park, enjoyed by kids and families during the day.
But during the night, it's got that dangerous feel to it. I have heard stories about crazy things, like one summer in the 80s, 70 bodies was pulled out of Humboldt Park's lake.
Through the theater, Melanie has met other teens from places where violence is not the norm, who realize that doesn't mean it's not their problem.
The biggest thing is that people aren't realizing that that's not just someone else's family, that's your family, you know? As a community, as Chicago, we need to be more of a community. And that's the way that we'll stop youth violence.
Instead of just mourning their dead friends, being afraid of random strangers, or trying to ignore what happens elsewhere, these young people are discovering the power of acting now.
How can we transform one person's simple voice into a voice of influence?
It's really scary and it's really big, but I've learned that I don't have to live in that fear, and that gives me courage.
So what else do they do? It is not just talk. Melanie and a group of teens produced an original play at Red Orchid Theater based on their experiences encountering violence and intolerance in their communities. It was called Our City, Ourselves. It was a sold-out engagement in April and May. So not just the young people involved in putting on that play, but all those audiences that were able to be influenced by their ideas about how to handle what's going on.